The doorbell rang. This would be my first applicant for an ad I had put out there, looking for someone to help me get to grocery stores, libraries. At the time, I was in my 20s. I had tunnel vision, like looking through a pipe, couldn't see on the side. I was legally blind. I also wore 2 hearing aids. I was very hard of hearing, but I was a good lip reader then. The combination of both is Usher syndrome, a hereditary disease that leads to total deafness and blindness. So I opened the door to see my first applicant, and it was a young woman with purple lipstick, facial jewelry, long hair, chewing gum. And she said, "Hi," she said, "I love your ad. I mean, deaf, blind. I thought it was so cool, so awesome." I said, "Thank you for responding. So how many years have you been driving?" Let me see, about 2.5 years, yeah. In fact, why don't you follow me? I'll show you my car. So I followed her towards the car, and I noted at the back of the car there was a huge dent. So I said, "What happened?" She said, "Well, actually, it kind of happened like last week. I hit a tree. The tree's okay. I'm okay. No one's hurt." It was kind of like one of those freakish accidents. "How many accidents have you had?" And she put her fingers in the air. 3. Yeah, I had 3. "Okay, thank you." The next applicant, I open the door and I see a woman with disheveled hair, crooked glasses, and she said to me, "I have 4 children with me. One of them just threw up in the back seat. I'm really sorry about that." I said, "No, don't worry." She said, "So I just need to tell you that my 4 kids will travel with me at all times. And if you come with me, you'll be sitting in the front seat of the van. I hope you won't mind the noise. I mean, sometimes it's noisy, actually all the time. So, and I'll be taking my children. The library, I'm not really sure the library's gonna work because I can't guarantee they'll be quiet." Tommy, what are you doing?" "I'm so sorry. I don't know if you could see him, but Tommy is down on the floor and he just drew a happy face with a blue crayon. I'm so sorry." I said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it after you leave." And I said, "Besides, he's a happy child." She said, "You're right." So off they went. I was at the wall and I washed off the happy face. I had a little bit of a worried face myself because I'm thinking, I'm looking for someone. I want to get out there. My sight and hearing is diminishing slowly. This is like up against an hourglass. So the doorbell rang. The next applicant, I open the door and I see is a woman with a short leather skirt, tight blouse, ample cleavage, full red lips, with lipstick over the dotted line and platinum hair. She said, "Hi, I saw your ad, and let me say something. You mentioned libraries and bookstores, and quite frankly, I think you should live in a little bit. I know every bar in town. In fact, I know every bar across the state. On a hot summer day when you're in my convertible car, you're gonna sit on that red supple seat and go, 'Ooh, what a sensation.'" I said, "I bet." She said, "Call me." After she left, I thought, I really want to be, I'm an outdoor person, an extrovert. I love people. And I wanted to avoid ever being isolated. I didn't want to be trapped in the house. The doorbell rang. The next applicant. I look and I see she's neatly dressed and she has a pleasant smile. I said, "Thank you for coming." "You're welcome." I said, "Are you cool with reading the New York Times and other material to me?" "I am." "Do you like driving?" "I do." "Do you have any questions for me?" "I don't." "Okay." So after that, I started to think about all the applicants I interviewed in person and on the phone. I opted for Gail, the woman with 2 words. And for the next decade, every week, 1 hour, 2 hours every week, she would take me on my errands to the grocery store, to all the places I needed to go. She was great. She was punctual. She was dependable. Everything was fabulous, except I talked too much. The car was filled with my own words. I thought I got to go on a loquacious diet. I wanted to hear her talk. Most of all, I wanted to hear her laugh. So one day in the car, I said, "May I ask you a question?" "Go ahead." I said, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat?" Big question. She said, "Your guess." "I'm going to say Republican." And she burst out laughing. I succeeded. She was absolutely hysterical. Then the year 2000 came. I lost my sight and hearing completely. I was in bed for the next 14 months, day and night. I was frightened. I felt claustrophobic. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And the isolation was profound. And one day, I felt someone approaching me, and I felt Gail, fingers fell into my hand. 2 words that broke the silence. "I'm here," she said in silence. "I'm here. Thank you."